One of the things that, and we work with thousands and thousands of individual investors, and people get very, very, very excited at the beginning, and they listen to, a podcast with Kristen and Gary Davidson, and maybe Gary Davidson talks about, subject to transactions or contract for deeds or rent to own or double closings or assignment deals, and whatever it is, they're like, yes, this is exactly what I need to do. And I need to go out and I need to do 1,000 subject to deals because I listened to Pace Morby the other day. And the reality is, as investors, we need to have a lot of tools in our tool belt, and we need to surround ourselves with mentor programs, listening to companies like Investor Fuel and talking to people within the Investor Fuel community who can assist us.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Pros podcast. I'm Kristen, and I'm here with Gary Davidson, who's the owner of Castle Law. They're based out of Chicago, Indiana, New York, Arizona. Really impressive company he's built. So thank you for being here, Gary.
Hey, Kristen, thanks. And it was good to get to know you a little bit before we got started here.
Nice. So I want to just hop into this. Tell us about your law journey. When did you, get interested kind of in this real estate sector with it?
Yeah, so real estate has been something that has been a passion of mine for a long time, and if you have to think about it, most of the world's millionaires have created wealth through the acquisition of real estate, whether it's McDonald's, whether it's Walgreens, whether it's any large publicly held company, all the way down to a firefighter who wants to buy their own rental portfolio. In order to create that life worth living and the legacy worth leaving, real estate is kind of a foundation of the U.S. economy. So just a natural to help people. And because I have a go-giver mentality, helping people through real estate and doing that through what I have as a law degree is just been natural.
Yeah, totally. I mean, this industry, there's so much opportunity within it, and it allows people to be very flexible and entrepreneurial. So I think that's wonderful. When did you found Castle Law? How did that come about? And, how did you get into that?
Yeah, so about 1998, I know with this crew cut, I probably don't look like I've been practicing law that long, but in 1998, as you know, most law firms are called, I like to tease around and say Dewey, Cheatham and Howe, or Davidson and Associates, because my last name's Davidson. And what I saw was a proliferation of private equity groups that have been acquiring medical offices, dental offices, and there was really no brand identification with law firms. It's just a string of names. So Castle Law was just born from sort of a metaphor for where you go for protection. And obviously there's a metaphor in the real estate industry. Everybody, your home is your castle. You want to have a castle.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
So we created this brand that lawyers could come under. And as you probably know, Kristen, lawyers have huge egos. So, everybody wants to have their name in a law firm. So it kind of took that away because nobody at our law firm people don't know who the associate attorney is and who the owner is. And so it just allows everybody to operate under this brand of Castle Law to eventually sell to a large institutional buyer. And that allowed us, because I saw a lot of lawyers that were basically what I like to say is owned a Chinese restaurant. They were literally greeting people at the door. They were performing the work. They were billing the client. They were they were doing every single aspect of it. And with Castle Law, what we do is we allow attorneys, we give them their time back by allowing attorneys to do what they do well, which is practice law. And we'll handle all the back office for them. And that allows them to give their time back so that they can spend it with their spouse. They can go out and generate more business. They can earn more income. And really, quite frankly, to my core being, which is trading on relationships, that's my commodity, helping my colleagues have that life that's worth living. That's why they went to law school, to be able to provide for other people rather than just running a business, because people who are professionals don't do a good job in actually owning a business. They own a business to practice their trade. So we've done that. We've helped give people back their lives. They make more money. They service their client better. And it's really working out well.
I think you mentioned something really interesting at the beginning, kind of how you branded Castle Law. I think that's good advice. Seems like you know the branding world really well. And I'd love for you to dig in a little deeper of how, calling it a more general name rather than with everyone's last name on the building. Just talk more about kind of like that journey of how you really drilled into your personal brand with the business and how that's helped you scale.
Well, I think that the first and foremost is that in order to, for any young entrepreneur, or you don't have to be young, for anyone that wants to start their own business, you have to sort of check your ego at the door. And everyone wants to have some sort of ownership, so then they immediately put their name on things. When people set up LLCs, they wanna call, the LLC 123 Smith Street LLC, but that really is a limiting mindset, because the reality is you want to add more to your portfolio. You want to be more than just Gary Davidson. You want it to be something that's enduring and something that people can people can be attracted to, and something that's larger than yourself. And this is just a concept of just in order to get, you have to give, and to have that go-giver mentality from the very beginning, just when it starts with branding, so that when somebody comes into your business, when you have people that are working for you, everybody is part of a bigger cause. They're not just working for you, they're working for something that's much bigger than just one individual.
Absolutely. I totally agree that it creates longevity and it's just like a brand name that's bigger than yourself, as you said, which is wonderful. So, you get the branding down and then you say you're an expert at relationships and networking and all of that. How do you go about your relationship building?
Well, the reality is that when you're talking to someone, you have to identify what it is. What's the one thing, I think Gary Keller talks about this. What's the one thing such that if you can do it for someone, everything else will be easier or unnecessary. So too often we
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
start a relationship by thinking about what the other person can do for us, or everything becomes very, very transactional. Someone needs to use me for a real estate closing or to set up an LLC, and I do that for them. And what lights me up and pays me well at the same time is when I get a phone call and somebody says, "Hey, Gary, my garage door broke. Who's your guy for a garage door?" Now, I'm not monetizing that, Kristen, but what I've put myself in a position of is I've become that person's trusted advisor. And I don't care whether you're selling marshmallows or you're looking to acquire your first rental property. If you go to, the largest REO agent in the state that you live in, and REO stands for real estate owned, it's bank owned properties for the people that are listening that might not know. Um, you know, these folks can sell that asset to anybody. So what you have to identify is what it is about you. What's the value add proposition that you can add to that person's business to make things easier on them or to put them in a better position? So my thought process always is, and it's because again, literally, I say it all the time. My currency is not money; it's relationships. When you do that for other people, it comes back and pays you multiple times over. But it's got to come from deep inside you. It can't be fake. It has to be real, and you have to really want to focus on others. And that I think is the basis of what I've done, and it's helped me grow and scale my business to a national level.
Yeah, and what's your advice on maintaining these relationships? Because I think that a lot of people get tripped up and like, okay, I made the connection. How do I stay relevant to them over the course of like 5 years, you know?
Sure. So the devil's in the details, right? I mean, obviously everything is about the follow-up. So how many meetings have we been in where you go to a lunch and you're like, man, I really love this person. I can connect with them. They seem like a really good person. I feel like I can do business with them. I like them. I know them. I trust them. I want to do business. But life happens. We go to our kids' baseball game. We get invited to another event the next day. We get caught up in the daily grind of answering emails. And the next thing you know, it's only about 5 or 6 days later, and you're sitting there thinking to myself, "Who was that person that I met?"
Right.
So, you gotta have a really good CRM program, a touch campaign that's very, very purposeful, um, and it can be, email marketing. It can be, putting them on putting them on some sort of list for when their birthday is, um, you know, a call to them on a quarterly basis, and then give some action steps. I mean, the biggest thing, you know, and I'm 52 now, so, I'm a little bit sort of in between. I'm not so, you know, horrible at technology that I'm my parents, but I'm not nearly as good as my kids. Like, just a yellow pad of paper, like, what are the 3 things that, if I could do those things for Kristen, that what she's trying to achieve in the next 12 months will be easier or unnecessary. And then if people have action items to take away from that meeting and identifying exactly what they need, and then you follow up on them, you're going to automatically stay in contact. Too often we're talking in platitudes at such a high level about, hey, next time you get a property that you're not going to buy, think of me. Well, that's just never going to happen, right? Hey, if you ever come across a 6-unit building in, Manhattan,
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Give me a call. It needs to be much, much more defined and purposeful on what you can do to move that person that 1 inch, because each one of those inches add up to a massive, massive impact.
Absolutely. I think that's really good actionable advice for people. And you're right. Your network is totally your currency, totally your worth within the real estate industry specifically. So kind of going off that a little bit, as you've been able to scale this business and be in so many locations and have such, top clients working with you, how do you go about finding the right team and, seeing if somebody's a fit for the team?
Sure. We use a disc profile to identify, to get people in the right seats on the bus. Because just because somebody is really good at, um, you know, doing podcasts doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be good at drafting documents. So we need to identify what their best skills are and put them in a position to succeed. Um, you know, and I'm learning every day. My director of business development, who actually found Investor Fuel and filled out the application for me to come on your podcast. Um, I was lamenting about 2 weeks ago about how our um, one of our main people in our loan department, uh, because we represent a lot of hard money lenders throughout the United States, helping them with all of their loans. And obviously, the hard money lenders like to use us because instead of me performing just a transactional service for these lawyers or for these lenders, I have all the clients. So they covet a relationship with me because they want access to my database of clients. But I was lamenting about this operations person who is literally the best operations person in the industry. And I'm like, she needs to pick up the phone. She needs to pick up the phone. She needs to pick up the phone. And my director of client development said, does she? Do you really want her to pick up the phone? And just because I value picking up the phone and it drives me crazy if someone's trying to reach me and I don't answer my phone, maybe we don't want her to pick up the phone at all. And so my director of business development said, that's my job to pick up the phone. I'll transmit that message back to the operations person, because what the operations person is going to do is they're going to say something that they don't deem to be ignorant, but is going to damage the relationship. Like, for example, I don't have time to do this today. Now, literally speaking, she probably doesn't have time to do this today. But is that something
Yeah.
that you say to a client? You never say you don't have time to do something today. So identifying those skills and putting people in the right place on the bus, that is going to transform, instead of just like having things eat at you and say, why isn't this person more like me? Well, there's things about you that are very, very, aren't good at all, and I shouldn't be doing them. Um, and I tell people, hey, I shouldn't be doing them. Yet, you know, I want somebody to do X, Y, and Z. It's not what their mold is. So that's the key thing, is not to frustrate yourself with what someone can't do, but to, and I don't like to use the term exploit because that sounds bad, but exploit or foster what it is that they are good at.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, highlight their skill set. You're so right. Everyone has a different way of doing business, and yours isn't necessarily the end all be all best one. That's wonderful. So you work with, some of the largest real estate or like huge institutions, but you also work with real estate investors as well. What are some things that you see on the investor end? What are the best ways for people to protect themselves and make sure that, their business is running smoothly from a legal perspective?
Sure. So one of the things that, and we work with thousands and thousands of individual investors, and people get very, very, very excited at the beginning, and they listen to, a podcast with Kristen and Gary Davidson, and maybe Gary Davidson talks about, subject to transactions or contract for deeds or rent to own or double closings or assignment deals and whatever it is, they're like, yes, this is exactly what I need to do. And I need to go out and I need to do 1,000 subject to deals because I listened to Pace Morby the other day. And the reality is, as investors, we need to have a lot of tools in our tool belt, and we need to surround ourselves with mentor programs, listening to companies like Investor Fuel and talking to people within the Investor Fuel community who can assist us. Because if you had to think about it, and let me give you an analogy. I don't, and this is a perfect analogy for investors. Um, Somebody came to me the other day and they said, I have 100,000. I went to see this person. They have a property that's worth $150,000 and they have a mortgage for $150,000 on it. So, of course, that was an immediate pass, right? Well, not so fast. What if we assume that person's mortgage and their monthly payment was $1,000, but you could rent that asset for $1,600. Well, now all of a sudden you have a $600 cash flowing asset, and on the backside we can sell that on a contract, and maybe we can sell it for $200,000 5 years from now. So the point to this exercise is that people need to have multiple tools in their tool belt, because you too often approach a situation with a specific tool in mind and say, I'm going to solve this problem with this specific tool. And then when this specific tool does not work, you say, it's impossible, or I can't, or this doesn't work. And there's almost all situations in real estate where there is some technique that will work to create a win-win situation for both the person who needs to sell the property and for the person who desires to buy the property. This should never be about taking advantage of people. This should never be about taking advantage of someone's misfortune. We should always be putting ourselves in a position where we're looking to help each other. And again, the concept is surrounding ourselves with a community such as Investor Fuel, where you can lean on people who have a greater level of experience, so that when you have an opportunity that presents itself that you might not otherwise believe uh, is something that you can utilize or make money on. And then next thing you know, you're talking to Kristen, and Kristen says, well, did you look at it from this particular angle? And then the next thing you know, you went from passing on a deal to actually having a deal that's going to help put somebody, maybe help them reset their life, get them back on track. And it's a win for you as well.
I think that's great advice. I mean, and it goes back to building your network and making sure you have a sounding board of people to bounce things off of. Well, I mean, you've given us such great, like very practical advice throughout this podcast, about branding, building your network, and protecting yourself. So tell everybody, to kind of wrap it up, tell everybody where to find you and where to find Castle Law.
Yeah. So the website's pretty easy, castlelaw.com. I actually did have to pay a lawyer out on the East Coast a little bit of money for that web address about 15 years ago. Believe it or not, I think I paid $750. He wasn't really using it, and I'm like, you don't ever ask you don't ever offer money to people, you ask them what they're looking to pay. So this guy didn't really know, and, so I ended up sending him a check for $750, and I own that domain, so look me up at castlelaw.com. Really, that's the easiest way. It's gonna have all our contact information, you can send us a message there. Um, and Kristen, just if people are looking to get connected with wholesalers, with lenders, with people in their, area, I've been doing this long enough, I cast a very large net, I'm happy to do that, and here's the thing, if I make an introduction, there is there's nothing there's no monetization associated with that. I don't take referral fees. I'm doing it because I believe that that person is the right person for somebody. So, I'm happy to do that for any of your listeners, as my give back for having the opportunity to be on Investor Fuel.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Gary. And I really encourage everyone to take advantage of that. So thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Amazing. And thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope you learned a lot, and we will see you back next time. Bye.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.